Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Bloodborne. Last time we went through Hemwick Charnel Lane, and we defeated the Witches of Hemwick, and for doing so, we were rewarded with a brand new workshop tool that we can take to the back of the workshop in the Hunter's Dream, and that lets us now use the Memory Altar, where we can equip and memorize Caryll runes, and we can acquire their Eldritch Strength. So we have 4 different rune slots, including one special Oath rune slot. We don't have any Oath runes on us. They're special types of runes, so we can safely ignore those for now. Runes function as kind of like the rings of previous Dark Souls games. They give you little cool ancillary effects like extra blood vials we can carry, visceral attacks grant more blood echoes, and let's see, physical damage reduction increased by 3%. So we take 3% less damage from physical attacks. That looks good for now, since we don't really have that many runes, and the runes that we do have are the lower level versions of those runes. We will acquire more different types and stronger versions of the runes we have now as we progress through the game. So let's pack our stuff, head back to the Cathedral Ward, press on, and we can play around a little bit. Alright, cool. Now that we're back in the Cathedral Ward, we can actually start messing around a little bit. So first off, I'm going to use the Blood of Ariana. I'm not going to get any more from her because I think if I carry any more with me right now, it could trigger something unfortunate. It's still nighttime. Let's show something cool that I've learned off. This is a fun little trick. You can play FPS style and use the binocular to aim your gun. It's similar to the binocular spellcasting trick from Dark Souls 2. We can also see the major difference between the blunderbuss and the pistol. The blunderbuss is very slow and it's weak, but it staggers very effectively and has a large spread. The pistol, on the other hand, is faster and it does a lot of damage. Back here, we remember these guys. They're tough enemies called Snatchers, who have been roaming the streets since Darkbeast was killed. Let's try a parry. Nope! Ooh! Yeah. Like I said, they are quite tough. You didn't think I'd go down that easy for no reason, right? Hope I didn't make that too obvious. Now we know why they're called Snatchers, because they beat you half to death and they drag you off to this jail. This place called the Hypogean Gaol. Jail being spelled G-A-O-L, which is an archaic spelling of the word, and Hypogean meaning underground. Madmen toil surreptitiously in rituals to beckon the moon, uncover their secrets. I love these kinds of secret optional areas. They're radical. In Bloodborne, you can miss more than most games offer in total.
Oh, merciful God, help me. In the name of the healing church, cleanse us of this horrible dream. In the name
So there's a woman down here, she's praying and she's begging. We'll go talk to her in just a second, but first, it's a little hot in here, so I think I'm gonna take off all my clothes.
Oh, please leave me be. Don't take me, please. Oh, please, dear God.
In this stage, she just kind of says, please stay away from me, which makes sense because a dude in prison just walked up to her and stripped naked in front of her. But if you put on a little bit of healing church attire, including Gascoigne's set, by the way, she has something very different to say.
Ah, by your garb, the healing church, you've come to save me. Oh, thank you, dear saint. I have no words to express my relief. You can take this, at least. It's sure to please an upstanding member of the church like you. Oh, thank you so much, dear gods. Thank you so much. I was seized on the street by a hulking brute in the cathedral ward and locked up here. There were many others, but they've been taken away. And I've heard moans echoing in the distance ever since. So, the hunt is on tonight. Then the streets are perilous, and every door will be shut tight. Perhaps it isn't my place to ask, but do you know somewhere that might take me in? Oh, thank you so much. I'll set out as soon as I can. I pray for success on your hunt, kind hunter. I'll set out as a kind...
So she recognizes you as a fellow member of the church and confides in you. Now she'll go back to Erden Chapel, and I find it interesting that she says that a madman's knowledge will please a fine, upstanding member of the church such as yourself. And this guy over here looks like he's a prisoner. He's chained up by the ankles, the wrists, and the torso, and he has this cage around his head. It would appear that the cage is some kind of torture device. That's what it looks like anyway. Actually, that cage indicates that he is a scholar of Mensis. Mensis is a school that splintered off from Byrgenwerth College. And we'll learn more about Mensis and the school there soon. Got more Snatchers up here guarding the lantern that leads back to the Hunter's Dream. And we have another of these Mensis guys caged up over here. And a really crazy statue of some sort of spindly, gaunt spider creature. Nightmarish rituals crave a newborn. Find one and silence its harrowing cry. This note's just straight up telling us to kill a newborn baby. There's a rune in the middle of the floor guarded by two Snatchers over here. Instead of fighting them, we're gonna try to hit and run. I'm not trying to get killed by them twice. The first one was intentional. Oh, and we're above 15 insight, so they're casting magic. So that rune that we picked up, it's called Moon. A secret symbol left by Caryll, runesmith of Byrgenwerth. A transcription of Moon is spoken by the Great Ones inhabiting the Nightmare. Gain more blood echoes. The Great Ones that inhabit the Nightmare are sympathetic in spirit and often answer when called upon. So now we have another aspect of this dreamscape. We have the Hunter's Dream, and now we're being introduced to something called the Nightmare. Either way, I'm going back real quick to the Hunter's Dream just to equip this, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I replaced the rune that gave me more blood echoes from visceral attacks. We're gonna show off an interesting, easy way to fight these enemies. So you hurt them a little bit, and then when they're hurt, they get really angry and they try to buff themselves. But while they're standing still to do that, they're really easy to backstab. So fighting them becomes way less of a big deal if you're not trying to do it straight up. I'm trying too hard to anticipate a parry with a blunderbuss. I can just take a few regular swings. He's screaming. Bam. That makes them way, way easier to deal with. And with this floor clear, we can actually go outside. The area we warped to was not called the Hypogean Gaol. That's the Hypogean Gaol lantern, though, and that's where we're locked up. By the way, a hunchback witch. Kind of like the ones in Hemwick, except without, being covered in eyeballs. So maybe the Hemwick witches came from here, where they studied at Mensis. We recognize that telltale stomping and snorting. There's a pig down there. But we have... Hold on. Let me check this statue out. It's like deformed mountains of praying women kind of stitched to each other. You can learn a lot just from the statues in this game. good. Snatcher flanked by 2 dogs. Dogs are dealt with. I couldn't ask for a better Snatcher fight right here. You'll try to buff up. Will not get the chance to, though. They're tough enemies, but there is a good way to defeat them. And then this path leads all the way down, keeping in mind that the jail is on our right now. There's some cold blood down here. I think there are twin bloodstone shards down here. A little Sean Connery, bloodstone shards. And this is a shortcut back into the lower floor of the jail. More of the witches with their straight razors, or are they like melon ballers, scooping eyeballs out. Either way, we won't head inside there because we're going to approach that floor from a different route. Instead, we'll continue exploring around the outside. I was saying that we came into this place, and it was called Yahargul, or Yargul, the Unseen Village. This is a little subsection of that village. Oh, no, I'm backing down from this. The pig's gonna charge. The pigs are really, really easy enemies unless you let them charge you, in which case, that's pretty much death. They always scream before they charge, though, so sometimes it lets you close the distance. Otherwise, they're slow, they don't really do much. They just kind of slam around. Oh, and they breathe poison gas. They are hideous looking, though. Covered in boils and pustules and stuff. And the tone of this place is very different. It's kind of a Souls tradition that music is often very sparse. All you get outside of boss fights usually is ambient noise. You get wind and footsteps, villagers muttering, stuff like that. You get a lot of audio cues. The only time you normally hear music, be it in Demon Souls, Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, is back in the Hunter's Dream, or during boss fights, usually. Dark Souls did that too, only Firelink Shrine had music and boss fights. Firelink Shrine was your safe haven. The only exception to that was Ash Lake, which was a very special location in the game. Tanemura, one of Dark Souls 2's directors, once said that it's because you need to pay so much attention to the environment and that audio cues would just interfere in the overworld. I am gonna put all this stuff on because I think it looks radical. Yeah, this caged, hooded iron helmet. I love that. And the other reason that music is often so sparse is because it makes those times when the music actually does kick in very special. Also, this message is a lie. Behold the pale blood sky. This is just the normal night sky. The full moon. Or is it a lie? Is it just foreshadowing something later? There's a lot of that going on here in the Hypogean Gaol. We actually haven't talked much about the music in Bloodborne, which is kind of a crime because this is an incredible soundtrack. And that's especially impressive because the game had 6 composers, including some non-Japanese ones for the first time. You have Michael Wanmacher, who did a lot of B-movies prior to this. I think he did Twisted Metal soundtrack. Chris Velasco, who did the OST for Clive Barker's Jericho, which has an unbelievably underrated soundtrack. We got Yuka Kitamura, who's one of the Dark Souls 2 composers, and then one other non-Japanese guy, and then a few FromSoft internal composers. And the composers from Demon Souls and Dark Souls were not involved in this either. And I think this is one of my favorite tracks in the game. You can't hear this and tell me that this game is not a horror game. in soul or spirit. Oh, right, another pig there. Let me get away from him. I'm gonna try and lead him up the stairs. Okay. And now we can drop down, plunge. Oh, whoops. I screwed the plunging attack up. Don't ever get caught by their charge attack. That's the only thing that makes them really dangerous. And they make so much noise ahead of time that it's really hard to get ambushed by them. Dude, this is kind of what Tanamura was talking about. Audio cues in the environment are so important. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Love old yellowing the dogs. It's a good way to deal with them one-on-one. Or if they clump up and you use the blunderbuss, you can just kind of knock them all down with a gunshot. That gives you a little bit of breathing room fighting the dogs. I don't like that chromatic aberration post-processing effect, though. It gives, whoa! Oh my god! Ah! Shit. I'm not paying enough attention to the dogs around here. They're way more than I thought. The chromatic aberration effect gives everything this weird rainbowy shimmer. Not a fan of that. And that wasn't in the earlier builds of the game, like the alpha. I don't know why they added it. It looks ugly. Okay, what do we have? We have 2 dogs and a snatcher. We can pull them one by one. Oh no, it's 3 dogs? Can't quite tell with the fog. Either way, we can pull them one by one. Won't be that much of a problem. And they're guarding something pretty cool. He's not gonna let me backstab him. Can I not parry that spell? Maybe I just don't know the timing. Either way, we don't have to parry that to beat these guys. Gotta get around back quick, though. Easy, easy. And they're guarding a new weapon. They're guarding the Tonitrus. And this thing is really, really cool, as are pretty much all the weapons that we've got so far. A unique trick weapon contrived by Archibald, the infamous eccentric at the Healing Church Workshop. Striking this peculiar iron Morningstar flail like a match generates the same blue sparks that blanket a Darkbeast. Unfortunately, for reasons untold, the hunters of Archibald's time did not truly take to the device. So, this is just kind of a normal mace at the moment. Got a pretty good moveset, reminiscent of previous games' maces. That's the charge attack, nice little 360-degree swing. What makes this weapon, the Tonitrus, unique is that if you hit L1, which would normally transform a weapon, instead it coats it in electricity, gives it a little temporary buff. A really good one at that. This is a very, very strong weapon. Especially against enemies who are weak to bolt. But since I don't have that upgraded just yet, we'll stick with our Ludwig's Holy Blade and the Kirkhammer until I can go back to the workshop and really pump some Bloodstone shards into that thing. Let's see, do we have anything else we can do out here? I don't think so. I think that's about it for outside at the moment. So that covers this floor, but we still have some floors beneath us that we can explore. This hallway leads out to that floor that we visited from the other side that had the witches running around. Oh, you guys are getting up. I'm kind of curious why they're kidnapping male villagers. I understand what they were doing kidnapping the females. Not so sure what they were doing with the males. I have an okay idea of it, but not too much we can spoil just yet. From the other room, you can actually hear footsteps stomping around. There are a couple more Snatchers through that door, so we'll clear out this room and give a little bit of space to fight in before we kind of pull them out. That's 6 blood vials, 7. Not a bad haul. There are 2 Snatchers in here. So, will they even fit through the doorway? Not sure. Doesn't look like it. Aw, come on. I didn't want to cheese them out like this. I figured they would... Oh, no, their heads just clip through the top. Nice. So this is going to be a little bit tougher than normal. That is the great equalizer, though. Charged R2 just crumples them to the ground. Oh, he's still alive. Hold up. That L2 is still great because it's a big horizontal sweep. And we can take this one out the way we normally do. Oh, that's not a backstab. Oops. Should still be able to follow up with the jumping attack. Jumping attacks. Whoa! Our life. The movesets in Bloodborne have expanded so much. It gives every weapon so much more depth now. And then that about does it for this inner part of the Hypogean Gaol. We get... God, that cave reminds me a lot of those weird-looking caves from Dark Souls 2. But if we go through there, we come out into a big open courtyard. And nothing happened. That's kind of a surprise. Come out into this big courtyard and nothing happens. But what is that over there? Crackles with lightning, and that is Dark... Whoa, right off the bat he's doing the AoE. Darkbeast Paarl. We actually just got our first mention of the Darkbeast in the Tonitrus description. God damn it, I'm gonna get caught with this again. Ooh, this is off to a horrible start. I need to start using the L2 more because it's horizontal. So I don't advocate locking on to Darkbeast Paarl. It makes him really hard to hit because you can only lock onto the body. And you want to be aiming for the limbs. Also, don't stand in front of him. Kind of the rule of thumb for most four-legged Souls bosses. You want to try to be beneath them as often as possible. Safest spot is always right underneath them between their legs. The only thing Darkbeast Paarl can do about that to keep you away is this AoE. You can either take the hit, which is fine, you can run away. You can also roll through it if you really have the timing down. I don't. Something I love about this boss is he circle strafes you. Like, circle strafing is always the detriment of every enemy in Souls games, is how easy they are to circle strafe, and this guy circle strafes you! So you can see, once you do enough damage to his limbs, he falls apart. He just collapses, and he lost his electricity. This is the time to go all in on him, just go apeshit at this point, because he can't do anything now. He has to run away from you. He has to run away to try to get his electricity back. So if you're keeping the pressure up on him, you can just continually knock him down like this. Just over and over and over again. And it gives you time to lay into him. Every limb has its own set of HP. So every limb, if you're doing damage to them evenly, you can knock him down over and over and over again. And he can't do his AoE electricity attack unless he is electrified like this. And then he has a second form, a second charge of electricity, which he also... Oh, I'm not dead. I thought I was dead. Otherwise, I would have rolled when I got up. So, when you knock him down in his second form, he has to recharge himself twice, which gives you a lot of time to try to knock him back down. Anyway, we'll come back at that a second time and try our luck again. Okay, now that we've been killed by him, once the Nightmare Fog spawns. I love the design of this boss, the visual design. He's got all these gangly skeletal limbs. The way he moves is very fluid and cool looking. Plus, if you notice, his hair stands on end when he's electrified like this, because he's pulsing with lightning. I don't know if I can get away from that in time. Yeah, okay. I wish I knew the timing for that better, because you can use the invincibility of the roll to roll through it. He's also got weird hitboxes on his limbs. Like, it's not just his claws that hurt you, it's his entire arm when he does the slashes. Yeah, like that. And he pushes you away with them. Yeah, this fight's all about control and pressure. You gotta fight really hard for control, and then never let go of it. Keeping the pressure up is the difference between this being an extremely easy fight and this being an extremely hard one. You can also hit him in his skull, and that will stagger him for a little bit. Not as much as hitting his limbs, though. This is all he can really do, though. Slash at you. If you put too much distance between him and you, yeah, I knew that one would hit, otherwise I probably would have been dead. I knew that one would crumple him. Oops. He can still hurt you a little bit when running away, it's just, can't really worry about that. His other attack is, if you're too far away, he can jump at you. No problem at all. So Paarl could be Archibald from the description of the Tonitrus. There's a really tenuous connection there. I don't really even believe that wholeheartedly. More likely, this is a close friend of Archibald's turned Darkbeast. It could be the Darkbeasts or just ancient beasts as well. Paarl being located next to Old Yarnum, the site where the Ashen Blood Plague outbreak took place. He could have been one of the first to be afflicted. Paarl could actually be ancient. There we go, I hit his head and crumpled him a little bit. Crack his skull. And that's Darkbeast Paarl. Really fun fight. With a cool little gimmick attached to it. And for beating him, we get the Spark Hunter badge, so let's check that out real quick before we cap things off. The Spark Hunter badge lets you actually buy Tonitrus, but you don't have to. Archibald was fascinated by the blue sparks that emanate from the hides of the Darkbeast and dedicated his life to their artificial reproduction in a style of inquiry that incidentally closely followed the methodology of Byrgenwerth, and he gave this badge to his closest friends. There is one more quick thing before we end the episode that I want to show you. First, explore the arena, make sure there's nothing hidden around here that I missed. Nope. So, right by the graveyard of the Darkbeast lantern that spawns when you kill him. God, I turned myself around somehow. I'm really stupid. Oh, up here. There's a door. And this door leads back out to Werewolf Alley in Old Yarnum. Vast, interconnected world. How awesome is that? Anyway, that's going to do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.